Next up are iterators. Iterators are counters, pointers, and post-it notes all rolled into one. They let you, well, iterate through a sequence container like a vector. Going one by one, jumping around, going to the end, going to the beginning. These guys are the key to using containers to their fullest potential, and they're required if you want to use some of the container member functions or most of the STL algorithms. So what are iterators? Well, basically an iterator is a value that identifies a particular element in a container. Using an iterator, you can access the value of the element, you can change its value, you can also move through the elements in a container by way of arithmetic operators. Think of this like a post-it note. You stick the post-it note on a particular item in a container. The note isn't one of the items. It's a way to point to it. For example, let's say you're sharing a refrigerator with a roommate, and you each put post-it notes on the things that you buy and put in the refrigerator. Jeff's milk, Adam's eggs, Joe's pop. The post-it note isn't something that I can eat or drink, but it points to the things that I can eat or drink because they're mine. So we'll demonstrate iterators by making a new edition of Heroes Inventory. This will be version 3.0. This will act just like the first two versions. It'll show a list of items, replace the first items, display the number of letters in an item. Now that we're using iterators, though, we can do something totally new. We can insert an item at the beginning of the group and remove an item from the middle. So let's get started. Okay, we're starting with Heroes Inventory 2.0. We're just going to build from here. So we will save this as Heroes Inventory 3. And we'll just modify this file so we don't have to rewrite all of our previous programming. We say that this demonstrates iterators. Now we still include IOStream, string, and vector. And we're still using the std namespace. In our main function, what we want to do here, we notice that we've got all of our programming already here. We're going to define two iterators. And the way we define an iterator is like this. We say that it's a vector string, 2 colons, and then an iterator. The name of our iterator, which this one is my iterator, and a semicolon. Our second one, we're going to call it ITER, iter. And now we have two iterators created that we can use in our program. Okay, this line that tells how many items we have, we're going to remove that. Now we're going to modify how we go about looking at the inventory of our items. Okay, we change our for loop. The first condition in our for loop will initialize our iter with the value of inventory.begin. And this should always be 0. This marks the very first item in the inventory. We want our loop to run for as long as iter is not equal to inventory.end, and we'll increment our iterator after every loop cycle. Okay, now in the body of our loop, we need to change how we access our inventory item. We're using a dereferenced version of iter. What this means is that instead of displaying the pointer itself, what dereferencing does is it will return the value of whatever that iterator is pointing to. And you can see that in the comments that I put here. The asterisk indicates dereferencing the iterator. This means cout will display the contents that iter is pointing to. It won't display iter itself. It'll display the value of whatever iter is pointing to. In other words, if I have a post-it note that says Jeff's milk, if I dereference that pointer, then it would just say milk instead of post-it note labeling Jeff's milk. It will output what the post-it note is attached to, not the post-it note itself. Okay, moving on in our code, you trade your sword for a battle axe. Now we're going to use our myIterator, and we'll set that equal to inventory.begin. And we now have a new way to access that inventory item by dereferencing our iterator again. So asterisk myIterator equals battle axe. That assigns battle axe to whatever the iterator is pointing to. Okay, next, we're going to output another inventory list, and we do this the same way that we did before. For iter equals inventory.begin, iter is not equal to inventory end plus iter. And then the code inside the body of our loop, cout less than asterisk iter less than end L. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the value the number of characters in the first element within our inventory. And we still have myIterator pointing to inventory begin, so we can use the dereferenced myIterator. Now in parentheses, I have myIterator, close my parentheses, dot size, open and close parentheses. This is how we would access the size of the contents within what myIterator is pointing to. There is another way we can do this that is a little less awkward sometimes, so we'll show that here. Item name myIterator has cout myIterator dash greater than size and then the number of the words, letters in it. This hyphen size is another way of dereferencing or accessing an attribute of whatever the iterator is pointing to. Now we'll say that our hero has recovered a crossbow from a slain enemy. So we will use the insert member function to insert this crossbow at inventory begin. Now we'll display our inventory again. This time I'll just copy and paste my loop rather than typing it all over again. Okay, instead of the shield, we're going to say the armor is destroyed. Now, instead of using pop back, we'll use the erase member function to erase inventory begin plus 2. This will allow us to iterate through inventory, go 2 numbers ahead, so it will erase the second item in the inventory, which actually would be the third item, which would be the armor. Then we'll display our inventory. And we return 0, close our main function, and now we can save it, compile it. And here you can see first time through the inventory we have sword, armor, shield. We trade for a battle axe. So now we have a battle axe, armor, shield. Both lines give us 10 letters for the name of battle axe. You recover a crossbow. This gets inserted at the beginning of our inventory, as you can see here. And then your armor is destroyed in a battle. This is erasing an item from the middle, which is begin plus 2, begin 1, 2 for armor. So all that's left is the crossbow, the battle axe, and the shield. So that is how an iterator works. Hopefully you'll be able to start working with that and incorporating that into your programming. As always, if you have any problems or questions, feel free to send me an email, come see me during office hours, or post on the help desk forum. I'm always happy to help if I can. So next time around, we will start working with algorithms. So check back for that. Have a great day, and see you around.